Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday the 14th of May. Starting with the FTSE 100, which has got bogged down, that March resistance line there at 8600, looking for a proper break of basically recent resistance 8630 then to promise us a move towards the old April resistance line projection from last year towards 9000, looking for that by the end of next month, while we're above recent support and the 50-day line near 8480. RSI at 60, so in a decent place for a fresh move to the upside. Moving on to the DAX, which has been pushing into new higher ground, shaking off tariff fears. Above 23,500, looking for top of that rising trend channel from March last year as high as 24,250, and looking for that over the next few weeks, maybe the next couple of weeks, hopefully. On the downside, worst cases, we've got to test the last gap area, 22,700. Moving along to the Dow, which seems to be now starting to outperform the FTSE and the DAX, so looking a little bit better, but back at the 200-day line there near 42,000, and back inside the former pre-tariff rising trend channel, base there at 42,000, above 42,000. Looking for the next level up 42,800, but given the lay of the land, not getting too excited yet about the possibility of retesting the highs. On the downside, worst that is seen here is the 50-day line, 41,000. Moving on to Bitcoin, where the race to get to 120,000 by the end of this month is still just about on. A bit disappointing that we had to have that dip towards the 100,000 level, but at least while we're above 100,000, we've got the 50 and 200-day lines rising very sharply actually at the moment, so that does suggest we should be able, or we could, get up to 120,000 by the end of May, while we're above the initial May resistance at 98,000. Moving on to gold, and here people thinking that it's all over for the bull run, but not quite, in the sense that we've still got that rising trend channel. We've still got the market finding support at and above 3,200. That's probably the line in the sand at the moment, while we're above 3,200, and also have the RSI back above 50. The neutral 50 level was still on for a near-term target as high as 3,800. Perhaps not by the end of this month, but by the end of next month, given the delay we've had and the double top at 3,400. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with the stock which is in vertical mode at the moment, which is Borders and Southern. I interviewed the company a couple of months ago, and you can see that they've got a rising trend channel there. Top of the channel there at 8.6 pence, looking for that by the end of next month, or even sooner, and that's valid while we're above recent resistance, post-February resistance at 5.8 pence. Nice to see the return of Capex, which had a big day yesterday, following on that today as well. The block at the moment is the 200-day line at 0.16, but above that looking for the top of the triangle, broadening triangle base, that is, from back in November, and that is pointing at basically the 0.2 level. If we can get to that area, then one would be much more confident of a lasting rebound in the stock, given that 0.2 has been the block on the shares in the recent past. Moving along to stock which most of us are probably not very familiar with, which is Cassell, and here you can see that the shares have managed to hit the first target there, the red line around 0.11, above that looking for 0.16 by the end of this month, which is the rising trend channel base from back in August. The other point to note, I suppose, is the way that the 50-day line is now rising well, and also we're well above the 200-day moving average, 0.07. So let's see if we can stay above there. We haven't been properly above the 200-day line since the beginning of last year, so this looks like a change. Upside value while we're above the 0.07 area and the 200-day line. Moving on to Capai, and here the situation is that looks like we're ready for a new leg to the upside. Obviously we hit all our previous targets, and big target at the moment is 0.65, which is, or was, the old resistance on the way down, and looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above the 50-day moving average at 0.26. Next up is Corcel, or Corcel, which it looks like all the clever people on Twitter really love at the moment, or they really like today's announcement. I suppose you've got to be following the shares quite closely to sort of appreciate the value there, but you can see that after lots of flagging of the shares here, they've actually hit that target 0.28, which is what we were looking for. So the magic's already been done by the charting. Above that, then the next level up would be the mid-40s, which was resistance on the way down last year. So have that in place for the end of next month. Ideally, we stay above recent resistance at 0.22, whatever happens here, but good to see that the target line hit today. Cirata, another situation where the target line has been hit, in fact exceeded. We've got a falling trend channel here, but we were looking for 28 pence as a potential target. Above that, we're now looking for the top of that channel, 36 pence by the end of this month. You can see that we've had unfilled gaps to the upside, very solid blue candle, so the stock has been on its way for quite some time. The other point to note, I suppose, is the way that we're back above the 200-day line for the first time since June. Moving on to a stock which I was going to not look at, but then whenever you get into that kind of frame of mind, it means that you should have been looking at it. So here we are with GSTechnologies, breaking up above a rising 200-day line and trying to break through the 50-day line at 1.45 above that. Looking for a pretty quick move back up to March resistance at 2.25 pence by the end of this month. Next up on the list is another stock which was trying to avoid, but then relented, and it's Hostelworld. Here we've broken recent resistance around 117 pence, and we're now looking for the 200-day line for the first time since August, 132 pence over coming days. Upside value while we hold above that 50-day line at £1.18. On to Metals One, where the final target has been hit at 40 pence. In fact, mildly exceeded, I think, 14.5 the high of the day. We've got to try and work out what the next level for the shares should be, but I think you can see that on the left-hand side, it was actually 60 pence, which was the all-time peak. So let's see if that makes any sense. And looking for upside to continue while we're above the former target there at 33 pence. Obviously very pleased with that situation. One of the best rises of the year. The stock which may become one of the best rises of the year is Mosman. Here we're looking for the shares to retest the old 0.08 level. We're looking for that quite some time. So far the shares are up 150%, which adds to the 166 of last year, so not shabby at all. And looking for that 0.08, especially while we're on the right side of 0.65 at the moment. On to Rome Resources, which has come up with a decent announcement today. Very interesting interview, I think, yesterday. Very interesting shirt from Klaus as well. But here you can see that we've got the 200-day line running fit. The 50 and 200-day lines now rising, which is a key thing in the sense that it suggests we're in the run-up to a golden cross, probably sometime around the turn of the month. And the initial target here is said to be 0.32 after we broke through the 50-day line at 0.21. But we're now looking for as high as 0.5 by the end of next month as the run-up to the golden cross continues, and after the unfilled gap to the upside that we had at the end of last month. So looking very good indeed. Also looking very good indeed is Smarter Web, which has delivered a vast and very squidgy pie in the face to the bears. Didn't quite take out yesterday's high of 53 pence, but obviously the day is young. Previous target was towards 45 pence, and obviously that was overshot yesterday. In terms of any pullback, hopefully we'll stay on the right side of the 40 pence level if there is any pullback here, but the situation now is to try and work out what the next trajectory here will be. Probably would like to stay for the shares to stay above that uptrend line there, but early days in terms of where the support and resistance actually is. Moving on to Tiger Royalties, where the great and the good seem to be still backing this situation, up a bit today and still looking for a retest of 0.21, 0.22, perhaps as soon as the end of this month, while we're above the 200-day moving average at 0.3, 0.12 rather. Next up is stock which I don't normally look at, which is TPX, and here Bear Trap Island reversal, so gapping down in February, gapping up today, rising 50-day line, so we're looking for the top of that falling trend channel at 36 pence as a minimum by the end of this month, while we're above the 50-day line at 21 pence. Finishing off with another cognoscenti play, which is WeCap, and here you can see that we are trying to find support, or finding support, at the 50-day line there at 0.92. Above that, we're looking for the top of that rising trend channel as high as 1.8 pence by the end of next month. A lot of people doing some interesting economics on or mathematics on that on this particular stock, but at the moment above 0.8, we're looking for 1.8 on a technical basis. That's it for me today. Join me again at the same time tomorrow.